a domain beyond the reach of normal perception. At nearly 4 miles high, Mount Denali crests over the Alaska wilderness. Named Mount McKinley until 2016, Denali, meaning Great One in the native Athabascan language, is the tallest point in North America at 20,310 feet. Denali has been depicted as the most frigid mountain in the world, with record temperatures of minus 60 degrees Fahrenheit and wind chills down to minus 100 degrees Fahrenheit, as Denali is only 200 miles below the Arctic Circle. In 1980, Denali National Park and Preserve expanded from 2 million to 6 million acres, nearly tripling in size, based on legislation passed by the Alaskan state government. And today, Denali administers almost the entire 6 million acres as wilderness. To travel over this ground has the capability to transform you. Come here, and the world will never quite feel the same. Winter, with nearly 20 hours of darkness, but this frigid land is only sleeping. But the sky above Denali is alive with the northern lights caused by solar winds colliding with the atmosphere. As winter starts to loosen its grip, days are now as long as nights. Springtime begins with a thaw and arrives as a wilderness awakens. The landmass beneath Mount Denali turns green as it awakens from its deep winter slumber, a world reborn. From our last port of call in Whittier, ending our 7-day Inside Passage cruise, we board the Alaskan Railroad, also known as Alaska's Lifeline, as we start our journey through the Alaska wilderness on our way to Denali National Park and Preserve.
And we're moving.
Whittier Glacier. We're inside this tunnel. It's able to withstand avalanches on both the entrances. You can see it way over there. It has 8 safe houses, just in case. It is on a computer-controlled system, so that we don't have cars and trains go through at the same time, because that's why we've done it.
Alright, we're in the tunnel now.
Round trip.
Love the glacier a little bit. Anchorage, Alaska.
Bed Bath and Beyond. Valley Village.
Denmark. 300 feet. She was on the edge of the Space Needle, and now she's 300 feet up looking over the edge. She's getting better with heights, guys.
I want to welcome you to Denali National Park and Preserve. That's number one. So, cheers! Cheers!
Let's see something drinking here at the water's edge.
All the animals and nobody's thirsty.
Right. I need you to sign this first long one.
Hi, after our 9-hour trip by rail, we finally get settled in at the lodge.
So come along and join us on one of our bucket list adventures in Alaska.
Come and see the experience known as Denali National Park and Preserve. Founded as a national park in 1917, little has changed over the past 100 years. In Denali, plants, animals, air, water, and soil interact with each other with limited human interference within its borders. But change is a constant here. Natural habitat and demographic changes, as directed by natural selection, occur on a seasonal basis. In the early years, Denali was an isolated wilderness with limited human presence. The native people, the Athabascans, called the Denali wilderness home for many thousands of years. They lived in harmony and rhythm with the land. Their lives depended on the harvest of animals for food, but they practiced what I call CCR, catch, conserve, replenish, as they knew the importance of living in balance with nature and making sure the resource was there for the survival of the next generation of Athabascans. Today, Denali straddles a tightrope between use and conservation, and limited hunting and trapping is allowed in some areas of Denali in acknowledge of this native Alaskan traditional use. In our untamed frontier, the sun vanishes for months at a time. When it returns for a brief moment, life explodes. A lot of life must be lived in a matter of months. But new life faces uncertain fortunes in the wilderness below Denali. And as the cold grips of winter slips away, the predator and prey relationship begins anew. During a season of abundant food sources, apex predators such as the wolf and bear begin their hunt for survival. In the grand scheme of the natural world, predators will cull out sick and injured, making the population stronger. They will also hold the population in check, as the ebb and flow will help keep balance in the land. As predators are also opportunists, they also help in the cleanup of the natural death process. Thanks to meticulous investigation, we now know that Denali National Park and Preserve has 39 species of mammals, 160 species of birds, and over 1,600 species of plants, trees, mosses, and lichen. There are also 14 species of fish that live within these park boundaries. Just as in springtime, summer is also short-lived in Denali. But by mid-June, The land earns its motto as the land of the midnight sun, as during a couple of days, the sun never sets lower than the treetops to create 24 hours of daylight, as we were able to experience during our time here. Hi. Well, join us now as our tour bus enters the wildlife sanctuary known as Denali.
You just got to keep everything in the bus. Camera gear, body parts, heads and toes. These are park service rules. They're going to write you a ticket if they see you guys hanging out. Keep stuff in. As far as seeing anything out here, some days you're going to see everything in 20 minutes. And I'll be honest with you, there's weeks out here you don't even see a ground squirrel. So you're going to roll the dice today. This is luck, timing, right place, the right time, people who have good eyeballs on the bus. This helps us out.
So the tour bus was barely down the road when someone yells out, "There's a moose!"
I see his antlers.
Well, whoever spotted her, good job.
Yeah.
Cool.
Coming out.
Oh, there you stand.
Little boy, he's making a debut.
So this is a 2-year-old bull. So he was just pushed off by his mom this year. He will not stop growing for 7 years. So he's a little guy. Look at him come out. See, his mom will raise him for 2 years and then tells him, go get a job.
See the moose? Look at that, right off the bat. I don't know if he's gonna. I don't see any animals. What did I do to you? Tricking.
Believe it or not, moose are one of the most dangerous animals in North America. Moose won't hesitate to attack people if they feel bothered or threatened. In Alaska, more people are injured by moose than bears. A bull moose must eat 50 to 60 pounds of vegetation a day to maintain itself and to bulk up for the winter, as a moose will lose up to 25% of their body fat during the longer winter months here in Denali. The moose is a true Alaskan survivor.
Been an intact ecosystem. The only thing man has ever done in Denali, build this ribbon of road. This ribbon here is just a scratch. It's just a glimpse of what's out here, but everything else outside the bus window is on its own terms, allowed to evolve in its own time. But here in Denali, we probably have the most unique dog team in the world because we have the last working sled dog team in the world. Denali National Park uses sled dogs to patrol the park in the winter. The road you're on right here is not open. This thing tends to be obliterated with snow and ice.
As we approach a viewing area on the road, Mount Denali is not visible for us today as the weather is not cooperating with the extensive cloud cover. Our driver guide explained to us that in the 3.5 to 4 months of driving these guided tours, the summit of Denali is usually visible about 15% of the time. So our train ride view was an outstanding opportunity for us.
Up here we work very hard to make sure we don't have any food conditioned animals. And this is going to be to your advantage because the bear has that instinct that's intact. He's scared of you. When he's coming at you, he doesn't know what you are often because his eyesight's terrible. Careful when you guys are walking around this cabin. There's nails coming out of the shutters. And a lot of Alaska cabins have nails out of shutters and doors. And what that is, it's a bear deterrent.
Okay, our first stop at Denali, taking a little walk, bathroom break, and heading down to a cabin that they use in the winter mostly when they check the park by sled dogs. And they'll go from cabin to cabin and stay overnight. So we're gonna go see that. So. And of course, bear-proof trash cans here, just as in Canada. And he's going in that direction, and we're going this way.
Visiting the latrine.
They're letting us go on our own. Just be alert, that's all. Or you stay in a group of people, you'll be fine. Thank you.
You're my alert.
Yeah, I know I can outrun you.
But far and away, the most important part of this road was to access American people and other peoples to experience the beauty of Denali. Well, they actually did complete that 90-mile road in 1938, which has given joy to millions of people.
We got a little bigger stove than we got.
It's the heater. It's warm in there. You can feel
That's more like our stove right there. Yeah. Second cook stove. There's the bed, one-room shack.
barrel.
Yeah, for washing and that. Cool.
Water.
Yeah, cool. We're in Alaska here. Not a bad idea for our cabin up on the road, guys.
Also opening the windows.
I don't think you'd have that trouble with that porcupine if we get that. Put this out. Put it off the pad on the porch.
All around.
Yeah. Welcome. We've got ours with cement.
Okay. Wow.
Very cool. Again, built 1928, 1921. It was a cook shanty originally when they were building the roads in here, but thing has been kept up. Here's for the dogs, sled dogs. So, just heading back to the bus for our next stop. That was interesting, but had to show you guys that and just show you the condition of a 1925 cabin compared to what we're working on.
We are now on our way to visit with a native Athabascan.
Here they're going to share some of their culture. They used to hunt the ground over here on your left. This is Primrose, and they were hunting caribou in the spring and the fall when the caribou migrate through here. Think about living out here year-round. These are people who developed a perfect technology out of survival. You guys look off to the left here. This is a textbook illustration of what's called a U-valley. That means you're in the shadow of a retreated, dying glacier. You guys can tell how ice ripped it, carved it, tore it out. The glacier stopped here because you look to the right. That's a V-valley, right? That valley's cut by water. So you got textbook illustrations, both sides cut by the same molecule. Ice on the left, water to the right. And when you pay attention to the shapes, when you travel through the state, you'll see this. They always say there's clues to all the views.
Hi. Because of certain tribal beliefs by the Athabascans, certain members of the tribe do not like to have pictures or videos taken of them. So in that respect, I talked to a tribal member named John off camera. He told me how the Athabascans honor the animals that their lives depended on, and that tradition still is practiced today, as they have certain hunting and fishing rights within Denali National Park. He told of growing up with nature at his doorstep, living with the bears, the wolves, the moose, the caribou. He also told me of how their respect for the environment, people, and wildlife and everything around you would then make everything fall into place in the natural world. And how today that's still a big part of their culture as they remain one with the land. Deadly Alaska, where the survival challenges can be epic battles. As Sandy and I look around the meadow before us, we spot some activity. Ground squirrels. For ground squirrels, as they are a major food source for almost all of Denali's wildlife, as both airborne and ground predators will feast on them. Only about 50% of all newborns will survive until the winter months. As we are heading back to the bus, I discover what I thought was claw marks on a log pole by the outhouses. Upon asking our driver guide, he confirmed that there was bear activity in this area about 3 hours before our arrival. As we were traveling down the road, just walking down the side road, we were lucky enough to see a black wolf. My video camera battery had just run out and I was trying to hurry up and get it changed, but Sandy's quick thinking saved the day as she was able to get a picture with her phone. Traveling through a pass in the higher elevations of Denali, the entire group in the bus was scanning the hillside for dull sheep. But when vehicle traffic is higher, the sheep are shy and tend to stay away from any activity near the roadways. To help, vehicles are regulated to minimize these disturbances to the sheep in these areas. So in the lingo of our driver guide when we first started out, our roll of the dice with the dull sheep, well, we crapped out. Our last wildlife encounter came as quite a shock. Thanks to someone's incredible eyesight, our group was able to see a grizzly bear in the wild. Although far away in a washed-out gully, my video zoomed in was shaky and blurred at that distance.
Yeah. I mean, when you think about a bear for every 300 square miles.
But a tour member with a telephoto lens was able to get a picture which I was able to obtain a copy of at a later date.
Tight shot to get all the ice from the spring out.
Yeah, it's a nice tourist thing. And then
Our dogs here, like that one you guys just walked by, when they get to that point where you need to retire the dog, they adopt our dogs out to people like you and I. So if you guys want to take home a retired Denali sled dog, potentially, you could. We don't want to keep the dog here.
And finally arriving back at our lodge, I found that besides us, there was a little bit of Wisconsin in Alaska.
Okay guys, check this out. We come all the way to Alaska. We did bottled water on the tour. And look, distributed by Canned Water for Kids, Sussex, Wisconsin.
The last of our time at Denali National Park and Preserve was spent getting a bite to eat and getting a good night's sleep. Our only regret is that we didn't allow more than a day and a half here. Our brief tour only managed to whet our appetite for more. Next time we'll plan on a longer stay here to allow for additional hiking trips to further explore this great natural resource. We were fortunate to see and experience so much, seeing native wildlife such as the moose, wolf, foxes, the ground squirrels, black bear, eagles, the beavers, songbirds, and the grizzly bear. Seeing the environmental wonders of waterfalls, glaciers, the Alaskan mountain range, of which Mount Denali was the crown jewel, and experiencing incredibly 24 hours of daylight during our stay. The man-made marvels such as the mountain tunnel and bridges that span some of the roughest land in North America. Well, I hope we were able to provide for you a glimpse into the wild nature of Denali National Park and Preserve. Hopefully this vast, rugged landscape will provoke a sense of wonderment in you, as there is just so much to see, do, and experience here. We hope you feel the pull to come and visit Alaska's Denali National Park and Reserve. Well, that's it for this week's episode. Thanks for watching and coming along. Keep checking Rapant Outdoors 360 for our next Bucket List Alaska adventure, as we take the road less traveled again, and we're going to experience Glacier Bay and College Fjord. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch my videos on my channel. A big thank you for that. Now feel free to comment below, or if you don't want your comments available in the public eye, we can also be reached at rapantoutdoors360@gmail.com. And if you know a friend you think may enjoy this video series, please feel free to share this with him or share our link. Remember, subscribe, like, comment, and share. And always, whether you fish or hunt, make sure you practice CCR. Catch, conserve, replenish. Make sure that there are resources available for future generations. We'll see you all next time.